we are on Earth, and the Earth is just one planet in the galaxy. You can compare that to an ant on the patio in this backyard. The ant doesn't know that there's more than the patio. He just keeps walking. He doesn't know he's just part of lots of worlds. And the human race is sort of like that. After they discovered what's up there, they know they're only a little part of this huge galaxy. I think there probably are many different kinds of living cells and organisms. Some may not be visible, some may not have been discovered, and some may be on places we can't go. And they all might have the same perspective as we do on this, that there might be others.
Yeah. Gotta find yourself in this world. Do that, you'll understand yourself better, and you'll understand this world better. Every day is another journey.
Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform to become your spiritual server. And welcome to your weekly astrological report for today, Tuesday, the 8th of May of 2018 through the 14th. And this is an interesting week, I will have to say. I think it's going to be a powerful and transformative week. I think we really begin it off with a bang, and then we kind of end it with a bang. And initially, I was coming into this video trying to figure out what was really the theme of the week, and the only thing that really came to mind was taking the next step. And I know that seems so just kind of bland almost, like taking the next step. What does that mean? What does it mean to just take the next step? It's not, because most of my other themes for the week, they're a little bit more exciting, but this one just seems to be kind of just blah. Now, does that mean it's going to be a blah week? I don't think so at all. I think really this is a week where we're literally prepping ourselves emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically for this new moon in Taurus that's going to occur next week, which is going to be very powerful, which I'll make a video on that event later on this week, as well as Uranus going into Taurus. So I think this is really this prep period of like this build up towards next week. That's really what I think this week really is, which is why it might appear to be a little bit on the silent side this week, where not a lot of crazy things are happening, but still there are some things. And just to even get further clarity, I was just really I was asking my guides and stuff, my angels, really what's going on this week. So I decided to shuffle the deck, and then the Two of Pentacles came out, which really does signal to this idea of really taking the next step. I think we're all learning how to manifest better lives for ourselves. We're all learning how to manifest our true inherent abundance. And while we really need to take one step at a time, the Two of Pentacles, it shows this infinity. So it's beautiful. My partner, she has this belief that you don't really make any, bad choices. We can make questionable choices in this life. I don't want to butcher her belief. It's really more or less that there's no right or wrong. No one is right or wrong. People just are. And that if you don't get to something in this lifetime, you'll be able to do it in the next lifetime. And that's an interesting belief, but we do have this infinity symbol here. So it does kind of signal to this idea that, we're all definitely taking that next step forward. But even if we feel like we're going off track, the truth of the matter is that we are all infinite energetic beings, and that really we can't go off path. We actually are being guided. Even if it seems like we're going into the shadows or into the darkness or into pain and suffering, really we're actually being guided through that so we can heal that aspect of ourselves. I think we also have to remember that Chiron just shifted to the first degree of Aries. So Chiron, which makes its transit around the wheel about I think it's like once every 50 or so years. I have to actually do the math. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's been a while since Chiron has been in this spot. We also have to consider that, you know, Uranus will be shifting into Taurus, and it's the first time it's been there since right before World War II. So we are literally at the precipice, my fellow brothers and sisters, of these energies that we have not been exposed to in a very long time, especially considering how far we have come. Now we have the internet that's also playing into all this. We have all of these different advancements that are playing into all this right now, the current energies. So it's going to be interesting to see how these planetary and celestial energies play out now that things have moved and progressed to this stage. But I really think this is a week of really having compassion for ourselves. This is a week of being patient with ourselves and not trying to necessarily just rush the manifestation. Because I feel like a lot of times we want to rush to get things done. We want to, you know, the law of attraction, The Secret on these things, all these self-help books and everything. It looks beautiful, and it's, you know, they really try and push this whole, like, you are powerful, you can manifest, and you really are. But I think what we are experiencing right now is how a lot of it almost has, like, the glamour and the Hollywood lights on. It's like manifest your reality in like sparkling light, and then when you actually get into the work, it takes a little bit longer than you had anticipated. Now I think our manifestation powers are speeding up, mind you, but things do take time. And I think what we're experiencing, especially here within the self-help and spiritual community, is a bit of lack of impatience for allowing things to grow and move on their own time. Just as a little bit of a tidbit to kind of wrap this back in, my partner, she's growing some plants out on our porch, and she grew them from tiny seeds. And this morning when I went out there, I was just kind of taking in like the nice breeze and just looking at the plants and just having gratitude for the moment. And gotta say that, like, there's something to be said from delayed gratification, which is interesting because here, especially in the Western world, we want it now, but things do take time to mature. Things do take time to manifest, especially considering how big it is. Like, you know, I can manifest a glass of water, you know, quite effortlessly. I can just go over here to my jug of water and get some water. I can manifest that. But then when it comes to like manifesting a house or manifesting other things, some things take time. We also have to consider that it might be harder to manifest a glass of water in other parts of the world because they don't have clean drinking water. More than likely, if you're watching this video, you have clean drinking water. So I think that's something we also have to take into consideration. I think this is also going to be a week where we begin to realize that we need to really start collaborating and pulling our energies together in a way that really begins to expand this positive message that we are all one, and that even though we are all unique individuals, we all affect each other. I think what you're seeing in the spiritual community is that we have like these different pockets and groups and stuff. But now it seems like I think now is the time where we need to come together. I believe this is the time where we need to come together and realize that we're all in this together. When I look at the astrology for the week, I really do kind of see it as like we start off with a bang and then we kind of end it with a bang. Especially going, like I said, into the new moon, the dark moon phase in Aries before it gets into Taurus. It's really, really interesting, which is why just the theme I feel is just taking the next step, Now, what that step looks like to you might look different for someone else. You know, everyone has their own unique and innovative, and I would say ingenious path that they're on and journey. This is going to be a week of really appreciating who you are as an individual. Appreciating your contribution. I wonder if that's a little too loud. Hold on, I want to turn that down a bit. this is going to be a week of really being okay with all aspects of ourselves. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the light, the dark. This is going to be a week where really you almost want to suspend definitions of yourself and just kind of appreciate who you are. And I think it's by doing this, we're going to learn how to appreciate those around us and everything else around us, including inanimate objects, right? This notebook, the phone that I'm making this on, this pen, this remote. These are all extensions of myself and of each other. I think it's really amazing how, you know, I'm sitting here looking around at this reality, and I'm like, you know, there are multiple realities, of course, right? But it's like I'm sitting here looking at all this, I'm like, this is really interesting. This is all complex, yet beautiful at the same time. How I'm able to have this device in front of me, recording this video, how I can take this device right here and create these interesting patterns, right? These different symbols that supposedly convey some type of meaning, that I can take this device and increase and decrease the volume on my TV. I think these are things that we take for granted, but we have to also consider, where's the sun right now? It's in Taurus, so this is really about grounded energy, and it's fixed earth. And now that, you know, by the end of the week, you know, Mercury will be in Taurus, right? And the moon will be there as well. So, and Uranus will eventually be there, which will be more or less, that's more on the next astrological report, but I am going to make a special video for the Uranus and Taurus aspect. I think this is definitely a week where, you know, definitely getting grounded and showing appreciation, especially for the Earth and Mother Gaia. I definitely feel that strongly as well this week, that there's going to be this balancing of the divine feminine and masculine energies. And this is even more so talking about when Mars goes retrograde, because when Mars goes retrograde, that's really, you're really going to start to see the balancing out of the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. So let's hop into this week, all right, and see what's really going on. I know that's an interesting opening, but let's just go ahead and hop on. I'm going to just go ahead and hop right on over to the chart, and I'm going to kind of just take it day by day and kind of let you know really what's happening, what you can expect, and why I really do feel like this is really just kind of a week of just really taking it one step at a time. This is like a brick by brick week. This is like a day by day week where it's like every day is like this new adventure, this new journey. Every day, and it should be like that anyways, and it is like that, but this week is really going to be just like day by day, just kind of putting more and more and more and more clarity and more vision and more vision. So let's hop on over to the chart. Okay, so as you can see, I ran this for 4:52, and this is Eastern Standard Time on May the 8th as I'm recording this. By the time I upload it to YouTube, this opposition will probably be exact. Now this is the first big, I guess you could say, explosive aspect of the week. So we have this opposition between the Sun in Taurus at 18 degrees and Jupiter in Scorpio, Jupiter retrograde at 18 degrees. And we can even see that it'll be exact at 8:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be exact at this point. And I want you to also, of course, pay attention to numbers, how we have the number 8 here, the number 8 here, the number 8 here, the number 8 here, and then, of course, 1 plus 7 is 8. So this is really signaling to this whole idea of infinity, because 8, if you look at it on site, it's the infinity symbol, and there's a lot of power and abundance that comes from that, you know? So no matter how far off track you think you might go, you're going to get pulled back to the center. So this opposition, what is it really speaking of? Well, Jupiter is retrograde. It's in a review period. So it came over this degree before, and now it's back on top of this degree. So what is this speaking of? Well, Jupiter is here to expand our desires, our deep wants, passions, even taboos that other people might not necessarily understand. This is also going to be really big on relationships as well. Even though it's the 8th house of shared resources, I feel like this is also playing a really big role in relationships and healing, because it's in Scorpio, a water sign, so it's naturally of healing. In this opposition with the Sun, which is highlighting Taurus, and what we consider to be of value, what we consider to be of a higher worth. It's a self-worth, value, earned income, your job, in many ways. This is really what turns you on. This is like the Sun is here, revealing back to us what we have manifested up to a certain point. And the Sun is asking us, do you really desire this? Are you really happy with this? Does this really give you the depth of experience that you really want out of this life? And I don't think this opposition is per se a bad thing, because Jupiter is naturally a rather jovial energy. And, you know, we do have, of course, this fixed, look at this fixed energy. We have these two right here. And then, of course, we have to remember that the North Node is in Leo, and the South Node is in Aquarius, also squaring this energy. Even though it's a loose square, it's still squaring it. And the Moon's going to be in Aquarius still at this point. So there's going to be this almost like emotional need to almost detach, you know. But we still have to consider, you know, where is our destiny going? Where are we moving towards? And do we really value all that we have manifested? I think this is really going to be a powerful day and even a powerful week for having gratitude for what we have manifested, but also really sending that signal back out to the universe of, okay, what do I truly want? What do I deeply want? How can I expand? How can I move this forward? And look, it's also beginning to make this trine here, which is coming soon. So this is Tuesday. Like I said, the main thing that we have here is this opposition, this bang right here between the Sun and Jupiter, which is really, really asking us to feel deeply, and really is asking us to really manifest our true worth, our true value, what truly ignites our passion, you know. I'm going to take this forward just an hour a bit, and now you can see that we also have, pretty much at the same time, we have this sextile between the Moon in Aries and Uranus in the Moon in Aquarius, excuse me, and Uranus in Aries. And it's interesting how the Moon in Aquarius is going to be sextiling Uranus, and the natural ruler of Uranus is Aquarius. So this is really going to be this communication back to our soul, into our emotions, of how we really can begin to manifest this reality based off of our innovative self, the way that we have been revolutionizing our behavior and who we are. You know, it's going to be communicated back to our emotions. And it might be, tonight might be a pretty interesting night. You might definitely get some emotional revelations tonight, some revelations about who you are and how far you've come. And really, you don't want to be hard on yourself, no matter where you are in life, because wherever you are supposed to be there. You have been guided to this moment. And you are amazing just the way you are. You're perfect just the way you are. And I know that sometimes it might be seen counterintuitive, because it's like, well, if I'm perfect just the way I am, then do I have to read these self-help books? Do I have to do this self-work? Do I have to meditate? Yeah, absolutely, because, you know, love yourself. And it's really about going at your own pace. You know, you can do whatever it is that you feel is necessary for your growth and expansion. But you are perfect just the way you are. You don't have to struggle and strive and try and impress everybody. Okay? This isn't about oppressing everybody. This is about what really is valuable to you. Okay? That's really what this is about. Now, if we move And as you can see, as we move this over, this is more of just towards the tail end of Tuesday night, going into Wednesday. You see that the moon shifts into Pisces, which is going to make things a lot more emotional, things a lot more spiritual, because while it's in Aries, there's this almost need to kind of want to detach, and this kind of like this energy where it's like, it's kind of light. When it gets into Pisces, it doesn't necessarily get heavy, but it does kind of bring about this wave of energy that kind of will just put you in a bit of a trance, and an emotional trance, even a mental trance. And this is going to really, as it comes over, of course, throughout the week, and then eventually it'll conjunct Neptune, as I'll show you here in a bit, we're really going to start opening up to this new spiritual sense, and this bit of a spiritual revival, I would even say, because with Chiron shifting to the 1st degree, it's really kind of putting a bit of a cap, and it's going to retrograde back into Pisces, so there'll be a review period, but it's kind of putting a cap on this great healing that we went through over the past 8 years that was deep and grueling, and sometimes it just really hurt because you got really deep down into some of your vices. Probably you might have felt like you're in a bit of a spiritual prison. But this week, as the moon crosses over Pisces, there's going to be this sense of like a spiritual renewal. Okay, so let's move this forward a bit, and not much is happening on Wednesday as far as major aspects go. We have some aspects that are beginning to take form. The main thing that's really happening, you can see right here, is that we have this quincunx between Venus and Gemini and Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. And we're dealing with this mutable air, and we're dealing with fixed water. So, emotionally, you might definitely feel, fixed in one spot. Like, you definitely might feel that, certain dreams and desires that you're wanting to bring forth, other people might not understand them. But you kind of just have to let people be who they are. And certain people will come into your life this week that are meant to stay there. Other people are meant to come into this life that are kind of meant to challenge you, but not in a way where I would hope that you wouldn't allow yourself to get super triggered. And really, this is about standing your ground on these deeper desires that you want. Because some people are going to come into your life and are going to kind of question it. They're going to wonder, like, why would you want that? They might try and tell you, show you something else. And there's going to definitely be this push for information and communication about these desires. But since it is a quincunx here, it's going to be a little strained. It's going to be a little like, I don't know. We also have the fact that the moon, around the same time, will be making this quincunx over to the North Node. So we move this forward. Like I said, not much is really happening on Wednesday. Not much. Now we have this sextile between the moon and Saturn retrograde. So really, Wednesday's kind of this interesting day where you're going to definitely be feeling more emotional this day and more open to the spiritual realms and more susceptible to these energies. But I feel like if you really take the time to protect yourself and guard yourself, then you will be okay, and you won't really allow any type of external circumstances to really, interrupt your energy this week and really interrupt your push to manifest deeper desires and greater things for yourself. So as we move this forward, we're just getting closer and closer now. So now we're on the Thursday. The only thing that's really happening is the moon's going to be making a lot of these different aspects. But once again, these are going to be some powerful aspects. And of course, it starts off with this right here. Starts off with, bam, the conjunction. We have the moon conjunct Neptune. At the same time, it's beginning to trine Jupiter. At the same time, it's beginning to square Venus. You know, this is really a portal. Because anytime the moon comes over Neptune, it is really like this very keen and adept portal into your higher self, into the spiritual realm. Whenever the moon comes over this spot, it's definitely going to be a really, and this is 6:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so some people will be going to work, some people might still be asleep. In other parts of the world, people will be asleep, like in other parts of America. In fact, they probably will be in REM sleep, actually, a good bit of them, because I know typically REM sleep occurs just before waking up, usually. So there are definitely going to be some very trippy dreams. Thursday morning, there's definitely going to be some really trippy dreams with the moon coming over Neptune. So definitely be on the lookout for that. There might be some lucidity, astral projections, but really, this is going to be you opening up to this new spiritual nature and how you really can hear yourself and how you really can connect to your higher self. I think a lot of people, we throw these terms around like higher self, high vibrations and all this stuff, and sometimes I feel like people don't really understand what it means. And then some people are like, well, I don't know how to connect to my higher self, or I don't know how to connect to my guides, or I don't know how to connect to my angels. And really, I want you to think of it really as an energy, okay? It's a feeling. It's just something that you just kind of almost know. You know, some people might be able to see these energies. I see some energies. I see mostly orbs of light and stuff like that. Everyone has his own, you know, different stages of their spiritual development. But really, a way for you to connect would really just be to close your eyes and start saying some affirmations like, I am powerful, I am amazing, I am beautiful. And once you start saying these things over and over again, I've noticed that you will get to this vibration state where you begin to start spinning a little bit, and then you're in. So it really is not as hard to connect to spirit as we think. It really isn't. I think there's just this, you know, we are learning more and more how to do it, but I believe that we tend to complicate things in this life. And that's kind of the interesting thing about Neptune, is that it's a very spiritual energy, and definitely can uplift you and heal you, but it also will delude you at the same time. Like, Neptune will purposely delude you just to get you on the right path. So I think in many ways we do that. I think we purposely delude ourselves just so we can get on the right path. And I think a lot of times, you know, we as humans, we just tend to overcomplicate things when things are really quite simple. But I feel like we almost need to overcomplicate things just so we can understand the true beauty, value, and worth of, you know, this world and this experience. Okay? So as we move this across, the moon begins to trine over to Jupiter after coming off Neptune, once again communicating this emotional connection and almost this emotional intelligence to really begin to open up to these deeper desires. You know, Neptune's going to really show us, especially in our dream state when the moon's there. But when the moon comes off of Neptune and then makes the trine over to Jupiter, it's really going to be asking us we're really going to be emotionally processing these this deeper expansion. You know, this really deep expansion of who we are. And it's going to, I think Thursday is probably going to be one of the trippier days of the week, just because, like I said, we have the moon conjunct Neptune starting off. So definitely the dreams, just waking up into the day, is going to make it quite trippy. Then it's going to trine over to Jupiter. Then as we continue throughout the day, look where the moon goes. the moon is going to, at 21 degrees, sextile Pluto retrograde. How it's interesting how it makes the aspect to Jupiter and Scorpio, and now the ruler of Scorpio, it makes a sextile to Pluto. So this is going to be interesting because while Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, this is really going to be, this might be a day where some type of emotional understanding will kind of come to the surface and come to a head, and you're really going to have to make a decision on whether to sever. I will say, you're going to have to make a decision whether to really sever some processing of your emotions that doesn't really work. And what I mean by that is you might get caught up on things in the past. You might get caught up on, he hurt me, or she hurt me, or that didn't work out. This is going to be a time of great release, okay? With this sextile, this is really an opportunity for us to heal and be reborn again. And since the moon will, like I said, will be in Pisces, this is a deeper and spiritual nature. And we can actually take, grounded actions to do this. This is a perfect day for meditation. Absolutely. A perfect day for meditation and for really, coming more into the self, and for, coming more into acknowledging that inner voice. Okay? So, as I move this, of course, I kind of almost right before it happens, we also have the sextile to Taurus. So it's interesting how we have the sextile to two earth signs, one fixed earth, and about really, like, where's your value, where's your worth right now, okay, what are you manifesting? And then with Capricorn, how are you moving this life forward? How are you moving forward on your spiritual journey? What actions are you taking to move this thing forward? All the while, of course, it'll be trining Jupiter and Scorpio, really revealing to us on an emotional level, and even a deep spiritual level, deeper desires, wants, that really just can't be denied anymore. And we have to really just allow ourselves to move in the direction of that. So, that's Thursday. And as we move forward, let's go over to Friday. So, well, bam, there you go. We have the moon entering Aries, and we have this right here, this conjunction to Chiron, which is the first conjunction that the moon will be making to Chiron while it's at the 1st degree, which is major. And now it's starting to enter its dark moon phase, right? This is huge. This is really going to be us having this. This is really going to be like the first step to healing the self as the moon comes over this spot. Alright? We also have to look at what's going on here. Mercury's getting closer to its conjunction with Uranus. We have this square that's beginning to happen between Mars and Uranus. Okay? We also have this that's beginning. There's a lot of interesting aspects that are actually happening. We have the trine that's about to happen here. We have the sun getting ready to trine Pluto. But anyways, like I said, back to Friday, we have this main thing right here is that we have this conjunction to Chiron. This is after the moon sextiles Aries too. Mars in Capricorn. So once again, this is really asking us what actions can we take that really further confirm this spiritual healing that we have had. And with the moon coming over Chiron, the wounded healer, this definitely will trigger a bit of a sensitivity within us of things that we need to clear out and heal. I think it's really meant to be beautiful. Now, some of your wounds definitely may come to the surface on this day, May 11th, on Friday, but at the same time, I think it's meant to be healed. That's why Chiron is a wounded healer. So really, our emotions are beginning to catch up to this spot by this time, and we're really taking another step forward. This is why I feel like every day this week, this is why I really couldn't figure out a per se theme. I think it's really just step by step, day by day, preparing for this new moon. Because I think we all can feel that something something major is definitely about to set off, and we all can definitely feel it. So we're really just prepping ourselves for this, right? So as I move this forward, we have the Sun also on this day trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. The Sun and Taurus trining this spot. Once again, this is really asking us about deeper wants and desires, and really how to ground these things in our value. But when it's making this trine over to Pluto retrograde, this is really saying that, okay, I understand that the old world and the old way of doing things is fading. I understand that it might even be hard to let that go because Taurus is involved here, so it's stubborn. So you might not necessarily want to let go of the past. You might not want to let go of some of these traditions. But Pluto is really saying that, you know, some of these things do have to fall away. Some of these things do need to be destroyed so we can make room for better things, for higher vibrational things, for more uplifting facets of reality. Facets that better suit the entire populace, right? This is really going to be this, even like this, I would say even a bit of an epiphany of how our world really could look. How our world really can look if we really do consider the needs of everybody. If we really do have the compassion for everyone. And it's funny because, like, we have no Cancer energy. So we have all of this energy right now in Capricorn, Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and Mars, which will be retrograde in not too long at all, making an opposition to Cancer, which we have no energies in. So there's definitely almost this feeling of like this lack of compassion and empathy for people. But I think really what's happening is that we are all having to dive within ourselves and have compassion for ourselves, because it's first by having compassion for ourselves and showing that connection, showing that truth, that we really begin to reflect it on the outside of the world. So yeah, there might be this need on Friday to want to try and hold on to the past and hold on to certain traditions. And even though it's a trine, you know, it's a harmonious aspect, but Pluto is retrograde. So it's like things that are falling away, we really can't stop them. It's almost like there's like a tower of cards, and it's like there's like a tower of cards, and it's like falling in slow motion. And we're trying, some of us, or all of us in some way, are trying to hold this tower of cards together from falling, but it's happening. And we're just sitting here just watching it fall in slow motion. And we have to recognize that, hey, our value is shifting, our value is changing, you know. The world does look different than it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. The world does look different. We have to accept that. We have to accept that. And that's really Friday. So as we come into Saturday, we have, of course, the trine that the moon will be making over to the North Node, once again asking us to come into our heart. But this is a dark moon phase that's starting to happen here. You know, it's getting closer and closer and closer to the new moon. So really, this is definitely a seed that's being planted. And since, I mean, whenever, you know, the moon trines the North Node, it's definitely this moment of destiny, of really anything that your feelings are always, you know, right. You have the right to feel what you're feeling at any given moment. But especially the moments where the moon is trining the North Node, you are definitely more connected to your heart space in these moments, especially, as like I said, it's in Leo. So your emotions are definitely going to be more connected to your heart. They're going to be right. They're going to really be dancing with each other, and you're really going to be channeling what's in your heart. And it might, since it's Aries, it might come across in blunt fashions. It might come across in interesting ways. We have to consider the fact that Chiron is now here, Mercury is still here, and it's coming on top of Uranus very soon. So it might look a little weird to some people, but you are channeling your heart. You are speaking from your heart, and that's what's important. Okay? So as I move this forward for Saturday, we have, at the same time that that's happening, a square between the Moon and Saturn. So it's really going to be, I want to just even take that back just a tad bit before the trine really happens. This square is really asking us, do we have the emotional fortitude to move things forward in a way that really acknowledges our true self? You know, because Saturn don't play around. Now that we have Saturn and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, this is a time where really taking actions really does give you like a double up. You know, it's like the one-up mushroom in Mario, but it's like you get like a double up because you're putting in the hard work. So do you have the emotional fortitude to really act on this integrity that you're building? Do you have the emotional fortitude to do that? Or are you going to just collapse under the pressure? Are you not going to come into your heart space and express from that place? Okay? So I continue this on. We also have this square that's happening between Mercury in Aries and Mars at the edge of Capricorn. So we have to consider that this weekend there's going to be a lot of edge, because we have Mars, our action energy, really wanting to climb this mountain, really wanting to make actions and push things forward, really wanting to almost, to just get things done. And we might even be a little energetically depleted, especially since that the moon is it's in its dark moon phase, we might be feeling a little bit of energetic depletion. Mercury being at the edge of Aries and Uranus being at the edge of Aries, this is huge. We have a lot of edge here, guys. We also got to consider that Chiron is technically at an edge in Aries as well. This is a deep healing of self and really learning to communicate our true worth and our true value and standing our ground on it. Really standing our ground on it. We have to also consider that Mars is slowing down. It's not moving as fast as it was. I think it'll move up to about 9 degrees of Aquarius. I can't remember exactly how far it goes into Aquarius before it retrogrades. But it doesn't make it halfway, that's for sure. I know that for a fact. So this is really big. This is really asking us to kind of dig deep and to really act on what our real value, what we truly want for ourselves, As I move this forward, the moon will king hunks over to Jupiter and Scorpio, further kind of hammering this in. And then, bam, we begin this conjunction. It's not exact, but we begin this conjunction. It's really a Sunday aspect where we have this exact conjunction. Is that also in the 53rd solar minute? So it's really at the edge, guys. It's really here. This is our mind, which is retrograded in Aries. So it's like, this is incredible because Mercury, it wants to get to Gemini. It wants to catch up to Venus, but it has to go through all this stuff first. And then it has to go through Taurus, which it doesn't necessarily dislike Taurus, but it can't move as fast because Taurus is fixed. Taurus will either just lay around in the grass and, chew on flowers and stuff. But before it can get to Gemini, where it feels at home, it has to make this conjunction to Uranus, which this is a quantum download mentally on how to innovate our character, on how to innovate who we are. This is almost like, in many ways, I like to think of it as like a dress rehearsal. And like you are in a play and you are like, you bring up all of your inner selves and all of your mini selves and you line them up and be like, okay, guys, so we are moving this play in a new direction, and now we have to update your lines. We have to update, you know, what you're doing. You have to even redo their costumes almost. This is a big moment where our mind is really going to start to get on board with this new self that we are crafting. And look, the moon is getting really close to the spot. It's within the orb. It's here. So even emotionally, we're going to be feeling this. Our mind's going to be a little bit ahead of the emotions, but the moon will eventually come over this spot. As you can see, we move this forward. Bam. Earlier in the morning, 8:48 Eastern Standard Time, the moon, Mercury shifts into Taurus. Uh-oh, what happened? There we go. Then our emotions kind of catch up, and it comes over this spot, the spot of the conjunction. Look at this hard square that's also beginning to happen. This is more of an aspect for next week as far as when it happens exact. But now it's like we are really trying to figure out, because this is also Mercury really trying to figure out how to work with all this new stuff. And now that all of these energies really are squaring Mars, we're really going to be like, okay, what do I do? How do I act? How do I move this thing forward? Like, what actions do I take? You know, because as it goes into Aquarius, you have to remember that it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn. So during the review period of it retrograding back, we have to consider that the actions that we take, you know, are they good for just us? Or are they ultimately going to be good for the populace at large? Because, you know, we all have to take actions for us. We all have to live for ourselves. But we have to realize that we do affect other people and that our actions affect other people. So emotionally, we are, you know, on board with, you know, this new self. And on an innovative way, in a quantum level, we're on board with this new self. And even mentally, we're ready to begin to manifest this. But Mars here at the edge of Capricorn is like, this is our, in many ways, this is like our masculine moving forward energy. And when it retrogrades, it's really going to be calling the divine masculine energy back into integrity about how to really heal that energy and how to really move things forward and how to really project our ideas and our values into the world in a way that is better suited for everyone and is compassionate to everyone. Even if there are certain people that you might find yourself, you know, astray from during this time, in the end, we're all going to come back and have an incredible party and be like, wow, that was an incredible experience, right? And I know you left me during that particular time, but if you hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have done this. And it's all very intricate. It all works together on a quantum level. And like I said, that is Sunday. We have that going on. So, and then we come into Monday. And then we have the moon, which will come on top of Mercury. The moon later in the day will also oppose Jupiter. Where the sun was, it's catching up to the sun, it's catching up to the sun, it's catching up, it's catching up. Then we have this opposition right here as well. We also have this sextile that it made earlier to Neptune. Really kind of hammering forth home that something big is definitely about to happen. And we are really stepping into this new life, this new play. And I'm telling you, once Uranus shifts into Taurus, it's going to be a really big spark. I want you to think of it in the tarot, because I think this is interesting, right? Think of it in the tarot, how you have the Tower card, right? And what card immediately follows the Tarot card? It's the Star card. The Star card rules Aquarius, and Uranus rules Aquarius. Now, the Tower card, it could be Taurus, because in many ways I like to think of Taurus as like the foundation on which things are built, right? The Tower itself could easily be Capricorn. But look who's in Capricorn. Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. So I think it's interesting how on the tarot card of the Tower, we have a lightning bolt, which in this case I attribute it to Aquarius, and then immediately following it, you have the Star card. So it's like, even when there's a great upheaval in our foundation, and there's a great upheaval in our traditions, and a great upheaval in that which we've become comfortable with, if we learn to just take a deep breath and follow the stars and realize that we are being guided, everything will be okay. I think this is a time of really reestablishing our values and redefining our values of what is truly of worth to us, you know? And I really believe that this is the beginning, especially with Chiron and Aries over the next 8 years. We are going to learn that the true value is not money. It's not how many cars or houses you have. It's not cryptocurrency, albeit that is going to change the world in a positive way, I believe. I think we have to work through the kinks. It's not even the internet. It's people. It's animals. It's plants. It's you and us. It's energy. That's the true value. And we're going to learn that more, like I said, as Chiron goes through Aries over the next 8 to 9 years. But this is really setting the seed, setting the stage for the next 8 to 9 years of this new play of learning, who am I? What am I? Really, you can be whatever you want. You can be whatever you want to be. But is it in line with your higher self? Are you in integrity? Are you in spiritual integrity? Is it a way that shows compassion for yourself, for others? That's really what's being questioned this week. That's really what's being called into the light this week. And like I said, that is really the week. This is really a week of just moving things forward one step at a time. And this stone has really been calling out to me a lot over this past week, and even just during this is my Vogasite. And this is known as the Stone of Innocence. Remember that you are a child of God, that you are a star child, and that if you recall yourself back into your innocence, you know, forget the past, forget all the baggage, forget all the worries and the doubts. It's heavy, it weighs you down, it ages you. Once you come back into your heart and begin to radiate that love and remember your innocence and really begin to open up and look at the world in such a beautiful way, to where every single day it's like you're opening up like a flower to the sun, and everything that you encounter throughout that day is one that really complements your reality, that complements your vibration. Even perceived negative things can complement your vibration. But if you go into the next day and you're just withering away and you're not really adopting this idea of just like opening yourself up to the light and to the sun and to the energy every single day, you're going to find yourself withering away fast. You're going to find yourself becoming like a Scrooge. And we all have an inner Scrooge. I have an inner Scrooge. He's been a little loud lately over the past month or two, but I'm learning how to embrace the inner Scrooge and show the inner Scrooge just how beautiful things really are. So I'm going to draw some cards for the week, and then we're going to get out of here. I hope you all have enjoyed this reading so far, and I just also want to just send out a prayer and just thank all of my guides for allowing this moment, and thank you for guiding this moment and guiding this reading, and to send great healing energy to everyone who watches this, and even those who don't watch it, and just really allow ourselves to really move forward this week in the most uplifting way that we can. Know that things are okay. we can cry if we need to, and we definitely can laugh when we need to. We definitely need more laughter and more smiles. And thank you so much for all of the beautiful things that you have given us, the blessings, the abundance, the prosperity. It's incredible. So the card underneath supporting all of this is actually the Eight of Wands, which speaks to energy moving forward fast. I'm interested to see what the other cards are to say about this. And I feel like in many ways this might be a bit of a fast week. But I think it's going to be fast and slow at the same time. I think it's going to be fast in the sense that we really can feel ourselves growing a lot day by day. But it's also going to be... this is also kind of almost even similar to this whole, like, this rapid, like, movement up into Uranus shifting into Taurus and this new moon. And by that time, it's going to be like this inciting action into play in this moment. And like this bang. I think that's what this is leading up to, actually. So let's see what else we have. Wow! Whoa! Okay, so I meant to draw cards almost like for the elements, but just look at what we have here. We have the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles. This is really this is really us kind of. Well, I wonder why the Queen of Wands didn't pop up, but it is what it is. This is really about us healing the divine feminine energy. This is really this moment that we're coming into, where really the divine feminine energy is being healed and it's going to start to balance out. I think the Seven of Pentacles is like where it shows this man raking these leaves, and it's known as the harvest card. But do we really want to continue along this path that we have continued on for such a long time? I think the main reason why the Queen of Wands did not show up is because the Wands is the fire energy, and it's like this creative spark energy. And I think that we really can't begin to create this new world and set it off until we sort out all this other stuff. We need to sort out the way that we speak to each other. Now, the Queen of Swords has a no bullshit attitude, and she really does go for what she wants. But we really do need to sort out the way that we communicate to ourselves and the way that we communicate to other people. Also, call your mom this week. Call your mom this week. And if your mom happens to have passed on, call her anyways, because you even, believe it or not, you actually have a deeper and more direct line to her, by the way. We also have the Queen of Cups. So this is really about opening up to this compassion, right? It's like you definitely want to, use the power and magic of your words to get what you want and to put that out into the universe. But also show compassion for yourself. Show compassion for other people, This is, and then of course we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is really asking us, what do we truly value? What do we truly, how are we connected to nature, Is it really grounded? Is it grounded in integrity? Is it grounded in compassion? Is it grounded in this healthy, receptive energy, Because the divine feminine energy is about this receptive energy. Is it grounded in that? Okay? So this is definitely going to be a week of like almost like we want to move things forward fast, and in kind of a sense we are, because we have to consider that by the end of the week, Mercury, which likes rapid pace, is moving to the edge of Aries, and it's been in Aries for a while now, retrograded in this spot. So it is ready to move on to the next stage, but it's like it wants to get to Gemini, right? Once it gets to Taurus, it's going to slow down. So we have to go through this period of like, well, we really do have to kind of ground into reality, just a better communication with ourselves, a better communication with other people. This is definitely going to be a positive time for really great affirmations. It's definitely going to be a positive time for healing meditation. It's definitely going to be a positive time of giving back to nature and giving back to the world in some way or capacity. And there can be great harvests here, But I think what we're learning and what we're coming into is that we've kind of been going at society the same way for relatively a while now, and it's time for a major shift into a new direction, a more positive, uplifting, and balanced and harmonious direction. Anyways, that is it for your reading this week. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you would like a personal reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, theaquarianadepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.